All right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is Biden to partially shut down asylum processing along the southern border. Guys, about time.
We begin our report along the U.S.-Mexico border. CBS News has learned President Biden will issue an executive order this week that would partially shut down asylum processing. The action will allow officials to turn away migrants.
Really quickly, let's go ahead and read this, guys. So border officials can deport migrants without processing asylum. Okay, relies on presidential authority used by Trump administration. Okay, processing at port of entry would continue. Okay, good. This is fine. Processing at the port of entry is completely fine here, guys. Right? Now, if you realize that people are not actually here for asylum, but they're here for economic migrancy, they shouldn't be coming in anyway, right? To be honest, if you see that there are some people that look absolutely like dangerous, for example, right? If you've seen traits that are not like conducive to our society, bro, turn them around. It's fine. I'm sure, right? Guys, clap it up. We have something, finally.
That enter the U.S. illegally without hearing their asylum claims. It will use the same presidential authority that was used by then-President Trump in 2017 to issue his so-called travel ban, which barred people from several Muslim-majority countries from entering the U.S. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camila Montoya Galvez joins me now. So, Camila, how will this executive order work?
Hi, John. This will be a massive shift in policy here along the U.S.-Mexico border. President Biden is expected to invoke his executive authority to try to suspend asylum processing between official border crossings here along the U.S.-Mexico border. That would be triggered after daily illegal crossings surpass 2,500, John, meaning that this executive order will certainly take effect immediately after being issued, because over the past 4 weeks, Border Patrol has been apprehending an average of 3,800 migrants each day across the U.S.-Mexico border. It will allow U.S. immigration officials, John, to quickly deport migrants back to Mexico or to their home countries without processing their asylum claims. And this effectively will suspend U.S. asylum law between ports of entry. Importantly, asylum processing, John, will continue at official ports of entry. Those are the international bridges that facilitate legal trade and travel. Also, unaccompanied children, we are told, will be exempt. This, again, will be a seismic shift in policy here at the border, but I do have to underscore, John, that it is likely to be challenged in federal court.
You're not going to see this instantly. Here's the issue here. Like, we already know that there have been people that came through the border acting like they were 17 because they understand our laws, right? I mean, unaccompanied children, meaning that if you're actually 20, you're just going to now say that you're 17. I'm about to be 18 in some random date, guys. That's what's happening. That's what's going to happen here. But I mean, listen, if they're obviously like really young, then okay, I have no problem, guys. But let's not play these games. I think we all know that there are going to be grown men coming in and saying that they're 16, 17, 15, and they're like 40. They just happen to look young. That's what's going to happen here. But I'm definitely happy that at the very least something is happening. I'm not even sure that they should have even taken away the clause that allowed them to stop people from entering in the first place. The port of entry should have always been the only place where people could actually come in, guys. Only.
But I do have to underscore, John, that it is likely to be challenged in federal court.
It will be.
Camila, before we get to the seismic shift and reversal for President Biden, just one more detailed question. Does this mean that it stops once it gets to 2,500 every day, or it stops and then doesn't get turned on again at these non-points of entry for some period of time?
Once Border Patrol apprehensions reach that threshold, John, the U.S. will be able to say that the country is essentially full in terms of asylum claims, and it will bar asylum requests between ports of entry. 1,500 people will still be allowed to request asylum at official border crossings
a day
per day.
But people, that's still Jesus.
who cross the border illegally, the Rio Grande in Texas, or the desert in New Mexico, Arizona, and California illegally, will be barred from claiming asylum in the U.S. And that asylum shutdown, that partial asylum ban, will not be lifted, John, we are told, until illegal border crossings fall below 1,500.
And Camilo, you mentioned that this is such a reversal for the Biden administration. How do they defend or explain this change and why it's necessary now?
The cities are putting pressure on them.
This is a critical question, John. Soon after taking office in 2021, President Biden promised to restore the U.S. asylum system, and he strongly criticized Trump administration policies that he denounced as draconian and inhumane. But 3 years later, the administration and President Biden, they are finding themselves, John, embracing drastic limits on asylum because of the unprecedented migration crisis here along the U.S.-Mexico border. In each of the past 2 fiscal years, Border Patrol has recorded over 2 million migrant apprehensions. That has created not only a humanitarian crisis for the Biden administration, but also a political headache for President Biden going into his re-election campaign. So while this move may well be struck down in court, John, it could send a strong political message for the administration as President Biden hopes to convey that he is taking a stronger, tougher stance here at the border.
Guys, here's the thing. When it comes to a lot of the places where where a lot of these cities are building a lot of the encampments, right? These places are in places that are, a lot of them are going to be inner city places, right? And you're going to have people, generally people of color, let's say, overwhelming these areas, okay? And what I'm trying to say by this is that is the base. That's the overall base for Biden. And if you've been paying attention, they're not happy. They're pretty much speaking loudly about how they have no issue now, completely switching sides 1,000%. Because if Biden is allowing this, then maybe Biden's not the one, right? And so he's like, kind of, for the most part, running scared here. He's like, listen, I got to do something here. I have to reinstate something at the border to slow down this issue that is affecting my base. That's what he's doing. That's all he's doing, right? I mean, if he cared enough, this would have happened in the beginning of the year. But instead, he was willing to risk his entire base to prove a political point to most likely California. Listen, it's probably California. It's not California, but you get what I'm saying here, guys. He's trying to prove a political point to the people that matter to him. Really, that's really what it is here. So, bro, change who you're voting for. I think that's probably the mandatory thing here. If he's completely comfortable squandering his base for the sake of political brownie points, maybe he's not the one, right? And again, this is only happening because we're going to be going into election season soon, guys. That's it. That's the only reason why this is happening. If he cared, he would have done something a long time ago, but still absolutely glad that something is happening now, though, right? But listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.